It may appear that he went to Dwarka and to Mathura, but that's an expanded form of Krishna. The original Krishna, he never leaves Vrindavan. He's even there right now. He's still there. So one simply has to somehow connect with Krishna. You see? Somehow connect with Krishna. That is the purpose of our human life. If you do not connect with Krishna, you have completely wasted your human form of life. That is a fact. You have completely thrown it down the drain. Wasted it. What good is your money? What good is your power? What good is your fame? What good is your beauty? What good is your knowledge if you're not Krishna conscious? Shama evi kevalam. Simply a useless waste of time. That's it. You have nothing else. If you have Krishna bhakti, you're the most successful person in the whole world. The bhakta, he has a higher position than even Brahmanshi. The one who is fully absorbed in bhakti, he is the highest exalted position in the whole world. We've seen this, our Srila Prabhupada. I remember when I first saw Prabhupada in San Francisco, there was about 300 of us there at the airport. There was no security in those days. You could go inside and listen to as you're coming off the jet bridge. You didn't have, in some places you can still do that. In Australia you can do that. You can go inside. In most places you can't go inside unless you have a boarding pass. But in those days there was no security, and Prabhupada was coming over. There were about 300 devotees there, jumping up and down and actually singing our lungs out, ecstasy. Prabhupada's on the plane, he's going to be coming through the jet bridge. Any minute he'll be emerging into the terminal. So it was the jet bridge was expanded on that day. You're going through the walls of the jet bridge, and now you come out of the jet bridge, and the walls keep going, but now it's a human walls of jumping and dancing Vaishnava. And the people are amazed. Of course, San Francisco was known for far out things in the late 60s. So, they'll be, well, it's San Francisco. hippie capital in San Francisco. But the people were amazed. They came to all these chanting, dancing devotees. We kept waiting, where's Prabhupada, where's Prabhupada? But finally, I think Prabhupada was the last one. Finally, Prabhupada emerged. He was so unlettered, he was so short, and yet he was the biggest person in the whole universe. He's very short, physically very short man, you see. But no, he's not a short man, he's the biggest man in the whole universe. Spiritual master is described as the sum total of all the demigods. He's the biggest man in the whole universe. So, it was quite interesting that day. Prabhupada walked to the terminal, and when he got out to where they pick you up in the cars, there was no car. Devotees were so spaced out, no one had a car when they take Prabhupada. He's just standing there. There's some pictures of this, actually. This pastime is recorded in photograph. Prabhupada was standing there. It was amazing. Prabhupada was just standing there like an aristocratic gentleman. He just stood there and patiently waited for his car without saying a word. And there's 300 devotees all standing around. He was called the cynosure of all eyes. 300 devotees standing around looking at him, It was quite a scene for any karmi who comes out. You see the 300 people standing and looking at a person who's standing there like this. We were just all looking at him. We were surrounding him. We were just gazing upon his transcendental form, feasting our eyes on his transcendental form. That's how I describe it, you see, because what do you want? The disciple, he takes the spiritual master into his heart. That's what it means to be a disciple, you see. You take your Guru Maharaj into your heart. He's not a stranger, you open your heart up and let him move in, you see. Guru Maharaj kindly revives and reside in my heart. You see, that's what it means to have a spiritual master. So, we would drink Prabhupada into our heart through our eyes, you see. That's how my understanding of what that experience was like. That's how I describe it. And we would see Prabhupada standing there. We would just drink his form into our heart through our eyes. So, it's very important actually to have a connection with Srila Prabhupada, to have a connection with a bona fide spiritual master. Because that's how we actually get the connection with Krishna, who is far, far beyond our ability to comprehend or perceive. That's the thing. Krishna is far, far beyond our ability to comprehend and perceive. But he becomes accessible through the form of the spiritual master. This is why Krishna explained to Arjuna in the Adi Purana, Ye me bhakta jana parta, na me bhakta sthite jana, mad bhakta nanshye maktas, te me bhakta tamamata. He said, my dear son of Prita, Arjuna, the one who is my devotee, na me bhaktas, he's not my devotee. But the one who is the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. You want to become devotee of Krishna? Great. And do what Krishna said. Become the devotee of Krishna. You say, no, I won't do that. I will just be the devotee of Krishna. I tried to do this. I was a guest living in ashram to check out what it was like to be a Hare Krishna monk. And that was my idea. I would just be the devotee of Krishna. Because I'd been a musician, a songwriter, and George Harrison had just come out with his Krishna conscious song. I was thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll be like George is doing, sing songs about Krishna, my sweet Lord, chanting the names of the Lord. I won't surrender to become, brahmachari, a disciple. Just be write Krishna conscious song and do my own thing. That was my idea. I'll live in the ashram so I can learn how to write better songs about Krishna. And the devotee said, actually one day I distributed 10 BTGs, so they gave me a title, Prabhu. I earned the title Steve Prabhu because I did 10 back to God in magazine. Steve Prabhu, you say you just want to be a devotee of Krishna, but just see here in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadvadi Punikaptena Pariprashnina Sevaya Upadeng Shatite Jnanam Kalinastadvadarshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Well, I couldn't say anything. It was Krishna's voice. But was I going to do it? No way. So I was in there, practicing, seeing what it was like to be a Hare Krishna monk, So I was checking it out. So they had this very long prayer they would say every day. Quite a stretch for a Texan, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutta. Wow. So how am I going to learn this? You're supposed to say it every time you bow down on his assistant. So I said, I know what I did. I took a ballpoint pen and wrote it in my hand, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. I wrote the whole thing. I had a little space at the end on here, my left thumb. And Vishnu Jan Swami, he saw that, he said, here's what you should add now to the blank space. I must please my spiritual master and surrender unto him fully. They were working on me. But I still wasn't doing it. But then one day, we had gotten you all know the Radha Krishna Temple album, Govindam Nadi Purusham, the first track. We didn't have cassettes or MP3s or discs in those days. It was just 33 1/3 RPM vinyl. That was the medium in those days. So Alpha Records had just released this wonderful album produced by George and the London devotees. Some radio station in Austin got it. This is too spiritual. We don't want to play this thing. And they saw us on the street. The brahmacharis, Harinam Prabhu said, "Here, you might like this." They handed it to us on the street. Wow, we elated. The Beatles and then the Hare Krishna. See, this is a whole new thing. The Beatles, Hare Krishna consciousness. Wow, we're going to take over the world. Another 2 or 3 years, the whole world will be Krishna conscious because the Beatles are now in Krishna consciousness. It was so enlivening. So anyway, we were playing that. I used to vacuum the temple room rug every morning. That was my service. It was a rented house, so we had a rug in the temple. Remember, you don't have a rug in the temple, the Muchi. But it's a rented house, so we had a rug, wall of our carpeting in the temple room. So we vacuumed it every morning, and that was my service. So one morning I was playing that album, while I was vacuuming. And it came to the second track. Samsaradava nalalida loka Tranaya karnyunya ganaganalam Praktushakalviyana gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Jagannatham. Now I've been holding off on becoming a disciple. I'm not going to do it. I'll just be the devotee of Krishna. So when I heard those devotees singing, expressing their love for Prabhupada, something that I had not gotten into, that mood, I stood off from that mood. But I was amazed. This is so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so pure, this Prabhupada prema, love for Prabhupada. It's so amazing. Wow. I was just completely overawed by the love the devotees were feeling for Prabhupada. That was it. I just thought, wouldn't it be beautiful? I just started crying actually. I said, wouldn't it be beautiful if I gave my life to Srila Prabhupada? And that was it. My little independence trip was finished off. Because I realized that loving Prabhupada was the sweetest, the ultimate nectar. Loving the spiritual master. Totally giving myself to the spiritual master, his eternal servant. It was the sweetest and inconceivable nectar that could ever be tasted in millions and millions of lifetimes. The sweetest, most inconceivable nectar. So Krishna is very far away for us, you see. The spiritual master is approachable. So he is the channel. The spiritual master is the channel to Krishna. By that awakening, that feeling of love for Shri Guru, who is the channel to Krishna, then we get that solid connection with Krishna. He is called, therefore, Guru is called transparent vaya vidya. Just like I may want to speak to you, but you're 500 miles away, so what will I do? I pick up my mobile phone to the medium of the mobile phone. I can talk. So Guru is medium. Krishna is far, far away in Golokavrindavan. It's very far away. But just as you, hundreds of miles away, become immediately accessible by picking up my mobile phone. Guru is like mobile phone. He is the medium that connects us with Krishna. So, if we take good care of our relationship with our spiritual master, then we have a very good connection with Krishna. And we learn from our spiritual master how to pray to Krishna in a pure mood, you see. Many people pray to Krishna, but they come with their material desires, and they wonder why they're not happy. Well, I've been chanting Hare Krishna for so long, why am I not happy? You see, what's wrong? Because they're chanting and they're maintaining their material desires at the same time. The 10th offense against the chanting of the holy name is to maintain material attachments. So we have to let go of these material attachments. They're not helping us. Even if you get all your material desires fulfilled, you're still going to get old, you're still going to get sick and you're still going to die. So what's the value? Do you get that house or that car or that job or that woman or that man? What is the value of it ultimately? What is the value of it? Everything will be lost. So just try to get that connection with Krishna. That's the only thing we really need in our life. We only need to have that connection with Krishna. That's all we need. That will fully satisfy us. Such an amazing person. Wow, he's just absolutely amazing. Everything about him, every single quality, his power, his beauty, his renunciation, his knowledge, his wealth, his fame. Every single aspect of Krishna is absolutely, inconceivably wonderful. Absolutely, inconceivably divine. Every aspect. You say, renounced? How could he be so renounced? He's got all those girlfriends. How could he be renounced? But Grandfather Bhishma confirmed. I am known as being the most renounced, Jitavrata, the most renounced person, but I can tell you that if I was in the forest of Vrindavan, all those gopi girls would have fallen down. But Krishna did not have any fall down. There was no pregnancy abortion from Rasadhan. There was simply, there was no sex life. So Krishna, Grandfather Bhishma confirmed, is the most renounced person. He's the topmost brahmachari. So in every way, Krishna is the supreme. Every way, Krishna is the supreme. There's no way that Krishna is not the supreme. Every single way, Krishna is the supreme. Because of every opulence that exists is nothing but his energy. So how can he be defeated? He's undefeatable. But there's one thing that can defeat him. That undefeatable Krishna. Ajita Krishna, undefeatable Krishna. He becomes Jita, or conquered by what? The love of his devotee. Krishna is very, very happy to be conquered by the love of his devotee. He becomes conquered and controlled by his devotee. He's very happy to become conquered by his devotee. He's very, very happy. Prabhupada said that Krishna is always being worshipped, the Supreme, but sometimes he becomes disgusted. Prabhupada actually said Krishna becomes disgusted. He's somebody being glorified as Supreme. He likes a devotee who can chastise him. That's the greatest pleasure. There's someone who can conquer him, control him, and chastise him. Of course, we can't artificially jump to that position. But in a perfectional stage, you see, the cowherd boys, the cowherd girls, they can chastise Krishna. They can defeat Krishna. So where is this conception anywhere in the world? It's not in the Muslim scriptures, not in the Jewish scriptures, not in the Christian scriptures. This is the highest theology. You won't find this anywhere else. This is the greatest contribution to the theological science in the history of the universe. This Gaudiya Vaishnava literature is the greatest contribution to theological science in the history of the universe. Coming from Lord Chaitanya, and he said, actually, he didn't write the literature himself. He instructed the Six Goswami. It's coming from the Goswami. This is the highest level of theological science in the history of the universe. The Six Goswamis of Vrindavan have given it. And Prabhupada has encapsulated it in his books to make it accessible to us. So I can ask now if there's any questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you mentioned that jiva is part of the external energy. I think you mentioned...
No, tatastha,
Okay.
not external.
Okay.
Tatastha Shakti.
Mm.
He is spiritual. He has two. He's spiritual energy. He's also tatastha Shakti, which is marginal energy.
Mm.
I never said external energy. He is in his nature. He's internal energy, but he also has a tatastha Shakti nature. Jivara Svarupahaya Krishna tatastha Shakti is also mentioned in that verse. No, tatastha, marginal. In the English translation.
So where does the tatastha come from exactly? Is it from Krishna's chit?
It's all coming from Krishna. Everything's coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything, isn't it? So everything comes. The ability to choose matter or spirit, that comes from Krishna also. That's free will. Tatastha Shakti means free will. It's not a physical place. Some devotees made the mistake of thinking there's a third region called the Tatastha region. That's not true. Where is that described in the Vedic cosmology? Another region. There is no third region. The two regions come against each other. And that border is called Tatastha. But there's no place to live there. There's no space on the border. See, the border has no dimensions. And you can actually live there just with it. So we have a consciousness which can go either way. That's why we're called Tatastha Shakti. Not that we originated in the Tatastha. Our origin is clearly stated by Prabhupada in the pastime of Krishna in the spiritual world. That's our original position. But we have this eternal nature of being able to go either way. We have that Tatastha nature, or marginal nature, the tournament to be able to go this way. That means free will, to go this way or that way. If you use it properly, you're in good shape. If you misuse it, you're in bad shape. But Krishna will rescue you. Personally or through one of the devotees. He'll rescue you if you make the bad decision and come to material life.
You mentioned also that Krishna never takes a step outside Vrindavan.
Yeah.
And that has been probably mentioned at many places.
Yeah.
But how is it then that the Brajvasis are still in separation from Krishna?
Yes. He appears to leave him. To increase you see, love in separation is more intense than love in meeting. So Krishna appears to leave, makes a show of leaving Vrindavan to amplify the loving feelings, the loving emotions of the gopi girls, and all the vibrant gopas, everyone, the cows, the calves, everyone. He amplifies, he cranks up their love by appearing to leave. That's his kindness upon them, to increase their feelings of love.
So he's leaving and still he's there,
Oh yeah.
and then nobody can see him.
He's in the hearts of they find Krishna within their heart. They associate with Lord within their heart, remembering all his pastimes. They're fully seeing him and experiencing him within their heart. Any other question? Yeah.
You mentioned that we have love without choice,
That's right.
but it seems that if we do not love Krishna, we ultimately suffer.
That's right.
So in one sense, there is no choice whatsoever.
You have a choice. Do you want to enjoy yourself? That's your choice. Someone can be a law-abiding citizen, they can be a criminal, they have a free choice. In Denmark, you can obey the laws and be a happy citizen, you can be a criminal and be a fearful criminal while being afraid of being arrested. You have a choice, don't you? In Denmark, to be a law-abiding citizen, to be a criminal, don't you have a choice? Huh?
Yes.
You have a choice.
Yes.
So in the same way, you have a choice to obey Krishna or not. You have a choice. You do have a choice. Now, for an intelligent person, there's no choice. But you don't have to be intelligent. You can be a fool if you want to be. You want to be a fool, you can be a fool. An intelligent person, there's no thought of becoming a criminal. That's insane. An intelligent person, it's insane to be a criminal, For me, I'm just going to be a law-abiding, but one has a choice. If he wants to be a fool and a rascal, he can be a fool and a rascal. Yeah?
It seems a little, externally, it can seem a little like extortion on Krishna's part, saying that if you do not love me, you have to suffer in hell or something.
What is it for?
It says it's going to be a little strong from Krishna's part, that if you don't love me, you suffer.
Is he being strong?
Or like...
Heavy.
Yeah, heavy.
It's like saying, I ran away from home and I'm suffering on the street. Yeah, my parents are very cruel and mean because here I'm on the street suffering like anything. You idiot, why don't you just go home? It's your foolishness that you're suffering. It's not Krishna's heaviness that you're suffering, it's your foolishness. Well, my parents, I'm suffering on those streets, living away from home. Why don't you just go home then? You want to blame Krishna? Well, that's the whole mentality you got here to begin with, blaming Krishna, finding fault with Krishna. You want to fault Krishna for your suffering condition, you'll remain in your suffering condition forever. You understand? If you fault Krishna for your suffering, you will remain suffering forever. So take the blame on yourself. Don't put the blame on Krishna. Otherwise you'll never get out of this place. If you find fault in Krishna, you'll never get out of here. Not in a million births will you escape this material. You take the full responsibility on yourself. That's how you get out of here. Not if you blame Krishna. Yeah. I saw your hand up.
Yeah, that was about the perfection of the cowherd boys and cowherd girls. Is that due to their love? They don't commit to all these pious activities, but their love for Krishna is unconditional, and they see him as a friend rather than as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is that why they, in a way, defeat him?
Well, what is it?
The cowherd boys and cowherd girls, they defeat Krishna. Is that due to their being friends with him? It's not a normal relationship.
How can they have that inner relationship?
Is that why they defeat Krishna? Because they have this kind of relationship with him.
Why they can defeat him?
Is that why? Because they have this kind of relationship.
The thing is, those who are completely sold out to Krishna, who have absolutely no material desires whatsoever, they simply want to give everything to Krishna. The person who simply wants to become the possession of Krishna, that's all. I'm your possession, do what you want to with me. Krishna reciprocates equally, or 10 times more actually. If you become completely sold out to Krishna, Krishna will sell himself to you also, give himself to you. So this is because they have the purest love for Krishna, and Krishna reciprocates. They've fully given themselves that now I'm your property, you do with me what you like. And Krishna says, okay, you made yourself my property, now I'm your property, you do with me as you like. You see, that is this ultimate freedom. When God himself becomes your property. You see, you understand? Okay. Anything else? Everyone's satisfied now? All your questions are answered there.